I'm not too concerned with what other people think when I'm doing art. And that's the kind of attitude I think people should have if they're expressing themselves in that kind of art for art's sake sort of expressiveness.
What the Kettle does is provide support services for people with mental illnesses. A lot of people who have mental illnesses have had their education disrupted. And so making art is a part of getting back into the stream of feeling competent enough to move on with your life. It gives a lot of self-confidence, and it takes a lot for people to show their artwork.
The Kettle Friendship Society had contacted the Business Improvement Area office, which is the Commercial Drive Business Society. We were delighted to take part. We contacted local merchants, all the merchants in our business area, and asked if they would like to take part in the event, and we received a really positive response.
You have artwork in some kind of unusual places you wouldn't expect, like the Bikes on the Drive and Robin's Pharmacy and Full Bloom Flowers, and they work quite well in there.
I think what's really unique about this is just the scope of it, you know, that there are so many vendors and businesses up and down Commercial Drive that are participating, and so there's this unusual experience of being in a neighborhood, in a locale, participating in a show, but having your work in more than one venue. We are always asked to provide artist statements and to somehow describe what it is that the art is about, but hopefully the art can speak for itself, because it is so hard to put certain things into words and certain feelings into words.
And then I came over to the Drive here about 10 years ago and associated myself with the Kettle, because the Kettle is an activity center for people who've been involved in the mental health system, and that's me. I'm a depressive. I used to do advertising art for a living, and I found that very draining. It's a hard job. The involvement with the Kettle is, it just came naturally from my interest in painting and drawing, because I've been doing it all my life. I studied at the Ontario College of Art in Toronto. It's now Ontario College of Art Design.
Well, art is, like I said, part of who I am. I have to do it, right? I'm a very prolific painter. Grade 4, I had a substitute teacher for the whole year. He didn't do anything except give us paper to draw on. You know, I was really happy about that. And in grade 6, I won a case of Coca-Cola for another art contest. I was always the best artist in my class, except for grade 8. We had this Japanese guy named Kenji. He was better than me.
I really have always drawn and painted people in the human body, and I'm just really interested in people as a subject matter, and in trying to capture whatever that unique thing is about an individual in their portrait. You call it a likeness, call it a soul, you know, but that's always been of interest to me, and I think I'm just improving on how to deliver that.
I started out by painting portraits of my family. Just because I was interested in them, and because when I was a young kid, I took pictures of my family. My family slowly died. I only have very few of my relatives left. My dad died when I was 13. But my family were very important to me, so I portray them. I did a show called Dignity, which was a group of portraits of people in the downtown East Side too, and those things are that's important to me. Portraits of people.
I can do realism if I want to. I just don't choose to do it because I get a lot more satisfaction out of abstract art. In the beginning, it's more the mind. In the beginning, I have some sort of intention of what I want to do in a general sense. You know, I never have in mind, you know, well, I want to do this here, this there, that there. I just sort of have a general sense of what I want to do, and terms of what materials I want to use, generally, right? But then as I go along, I use a lot of intuition. So I follow my intuition a lot, let my intuition take over as I get into the painting.
I think colors are like sounds, you know, like you have if you're a musician, you have a palette of sounds, which are all different, which you have to put together into some kind of cohesive whole. And I think painting is like that. A lot of times the people that I'm painting have struggled through very difficult circumstances to achieve greatness in their field, you know, in particular music.
Yeah, I got a bunch of people at the Kettle that they have trap lines to look for bottles or what have you, and I just ask them. I say, well, if you find any paint, let me see it. If it's expensive English acrylic paint that's good, that's got huge pigment in it, and it's all dried up, you can carve it. I like the look of it, and I like the randomness of it, and I can put my own sense of expression in it. People who have been involved in the mental health system, some of them have fantastic visionary ways of looking at things, and sometimes they're not very practical. But if you've been involved in the mental health system, and if you've been involved in the fine arts system, there's a link there. Jackie Novick and some of the people at the Kettle realize that, and they strive to keep people focused on delivering a bit of information about art and how it heals, how it helps people heal.
I just say if you have some kind of desire to do artwork, I think you should do it no matter what. You know, don't let your inhibitions get in the way of doing your artwork.
The thing about art equals empowerment is that it's not just empowerment for the artists, but it empowers the whole community to be more inclusive.
It's empowerment because it's expression. It's valuing the voice of a person, an individual, their point of view. That is empowering. When you give expression to your thoughts or your feelings, it is an empowering act.